Good morning, Facebook family and friends. Today is December the 21st, 2024, and this is Saturday morning. Excuse me, Saturday morning with Dr. Mama Rosie Thompson. Amen. I'm really happy to be here again with you this morning. Let me announce right now that I will not be on next Saturday nor Friday. I don't know if I'll be traveling, but I won't be on next Friday nor Saturday, but I will see you again in the new year. So this is Saturday morning with Dr. Mama Rosie Thompson, December the 21st, 2024, Becoming Whole and Authentic. And today we're going to talk a little bit. We mentioned this last week, and we talked about being able to express our feelings freely. And I guess it's a time of celebration. It's a time of sharing. It's a time of spending time with family. But before we go into the new year, it may be a good idea to learn how, or to begin to learn how to express our feelings to other people, so that people understand I don't want to say where we're coming from, but what we feel when we're trying to be in a relationship with people. Oftentimes, I see a lot of things happen when I talk to people. I talk to a lot of people, a lot of different people, a lot of people from different backgrounds, and the majority of the people I speak with, even if I make the phone call to talk to them, I never get to tell them what I actually called about. And then sometimes that can kind of bother me. Or I say something and I don't know, our listening skills may need to be improved. Mine too. And I think that this is one that I'm going to definitely pay more attention to for myself. Our listening skills may need to be improved somewhat, because sometimes when you try and say something, sometimes I get answers to things I'm not even asking, and I'm trying to say something, and it's like we don't have patience to hear, patience to have conversations anymore, patience to try to see what the other person is saying before we try to get eyes out. We want to tell people about us and get eyes out. It can be the little things, but for people like me and there's so many other people who have had traumatic experiences. And one of the things that's important to me is to be heard. And I think there was Vicky said that too. Minister Vicky Taylor said that she tried to say something, she just want to be heard. It's important to me to be heard. And so sometimes when I say it's important for me to be heard, I don't mean that it's important for me to be heard when I'm talking about something major, because if I'm not heard when I'm talking about something minor, then I probably won't share with you anything that's major, because I already know you're not going to hear it. You've already turned your ear off to it. When I'm learning how, and I talked to my sister and she's helping me, I'm learning to be in her conversation sometimes. So sometimes when we talk, when we speak, and she'll start to say something, sometimes I'll cut her off, and I tell her, you tell me, Rosie, I need, let me finish what I'm saying. So we cut each other off. We cut each other off to tell them about our story. If I say, well, today I'm going to do so and so, they cut you off to let you know what they did yesterday or what they're going to do today. If you say that I'm going to, well, I think I got a taste for this, they're going to tell you that they had some. It's almost like and it comes off like kind of like we competing with each other. If you say, well, you know what, I'm going out and buy me a pair of shoes. Well, I bought me some shoes yesterday, and I ordered me some shoes, and I did this. It's almost like the conversation is never about the other person. The conversation is all centered around me, what I do, and who I am, and we don't want that. We want to be able to express ourselves. We want to do it freely, and the way that I've seen some conversations go, it hinders the ability, and it hinders that where you're not able to speak freely. If you're not able to speak freely, how can we express our feelings? How can we express our desires? I talk to people, and I talk to people about, and they talk about the things they want to do, and especially no one can do anything for me without knowing what I like. That's for me. I don't know about other people, but it's a waste of time to do things for me if you don't take the time to find out what I like. And the only way you're going to find out what I like is by talking to me, by asking questions. So I'm big on conversation. I need you to talk to me because I'm talking to you. I want to find out about you. I want to find out, and it's good before we get into these friendships to find out about people. We get into these friendships based on what I think it should be or how I feel it should be, and then later on you find out different, things are not working out the way you thought, because we don't communicate well. So expressing our feelings freely, how do we do that? I guess maybe I should have started with communication. Maybe that's what we should have even started with this. So last week We did talk about being alone for the holidays, and we talk about there may come a time when there's no one there around to decorate the tree, or there's no excitement about decorating the tree. The kids are not forced to go to bed anymore, or when they're too excited to go to sleep, and the kids are not waking up at midnight or 4 a.m. to open their gifts. The excitement of Christmas time, the magic. So it seems sometimes like the magic has gone out of the holidays. So when that happens to us, we need to know why that had happened, first of all. If it's a personal choice, I don't want to do that anymore. Or when we say to ourselves, make sure, pay attention to yourself when you talk. Because if you say to yourself that it doesn't matter, really make sure within yourself, it doesn't matter what somebody else thinks, but make sure within yourself it really doesn't matter. Don't say it doesn't matter when you know it matters. That's why I have to talk about the little things, because the little things matter to me. The little things matter hugely, really big in my life. I told you about a time, and I'll say it again, that I was at this project management class, and a lady, and I said that I just want to be respected. And the other young lady said, why do you keep saying that? And I guess I must have said it a lot, because she's like, why do you keep saying that? Everybody wants to be respected. But what not hearing me is disrespecting me. Because when I take the time to share, and when you take the time to share, and I don't take the time to hear you, or to at least pay attention to what you're trying to say and trying to understand what you're trying to share, to me that's disrespectful to my time, to your time, and to my time. So when I'm trying to do something, anything I'm trying to do, if you don't understand it, or someone don't understand it, we need to get to a place where we can ask questions. And people should be okay with asking questions. Sometimes you try to ask a question because you're trying to get clarification, and they think that I don't know, it's kind of a lot to learn, a lot to do, but it's almost as if you're coming against what they're saying. I'm not coming against what you're saying. I'm trying to understand it. And to have these relationships and friendships where we'll just let people say stuff and bypass it because it really doesn't mean anything. Me, I like things on a deeper level than that. And there are many ways. Like I said last week, there are many ways. So the first thing we need to do is think about, why am I alone? Is it a personal choice? Are you really wishing that things were different? But but they're not different. So sometimes we say things are okay. We really wish they were different, but we say they're okay when that's not okay. If you wish they were different, you wish they were different. We're becoming whole and authentic. And the one thing, it has to start inside of us. We have to admit to ourselves when we feel a certain way. We have to admit to ourselves when we feel a certain way about other people, when we feel a certain way about ourselves, when we see things, we have to be real with ourselves. The only way we can be real and authentic is to be real, first of all, with ourselves. But then, so we look at why we don't enjoy the holiday. Be real with yourself. Do you really want the kids to come back over for Christmas and holidays? Are you hoping for the family to get together, but that's just not happening? So don't act like it's okay when it's not okay. Maybe you can find some ways to say, we don't get together for the holidays, and I try to do things like, my kids and I do, whether we don't, and then we don't have family in town. But those of us, people, our family don't travel from out of town to get together for holiday. That's been like that all our lives. So it's kind of like an accepted thing. It would be great to have everybody here. We don't like traveling in the snow, for one thing. That's one thing. We don't like driving on the ice. We never know what the weather's going to be, and we're like trying to manage all of that stuff. But those in our towns where we live, the cities where we live, those get together. So like I know that my family who's right here in the city in Illinois, they will be here for Thanksgiving. I know that. And what I do too, I also open my heart, and I have friends who will be here for Thanksgiving, Christmas, who will be coming over for Christmas dinner. And I've been posting a lot on Facebook because to show some of the other things I do. My friend, my little honey, Becca and I we went and looked at the Christmas lights. We went out to eat. And we went Christmas light. We went to look at Christmas light. Yesterday, Jim and Cindy came over to Forest Park. We went out to dinner. That was great too. That food was good. But anyway, we went out yesterday, and I have some things to do in the house today. Some things I want to do in my house. And then Monday, I know another friend of mine, Chris, and her friend, we're gonna go out. We're gonna go eat an early dinner, and then we're gonna go out and look at Christmas light. We find things to do. I remember the time when I would just be in the house, probably prepping all the way up to Christmas. But now I'm seeing people. I went to this place called Fisher's with my friend Alma, and it was the holiday. I don't know, was it Thanksgiving? It was Halloween. It was a holiday. It was a time when I would have been at home cooking, and I saw all of these adults up there, and they were like having fun. And so my days used to spend the whole day cooking. So my life has changed where I don't have as many people coming over as before, but I would still spend the whole day cooking on less on a a scale that was less. I didn't cook as much, but I would still spend those days. So now I can incorporate other things in my life. I have to remind myself that my life has changed. My children are grown. My grandchildren are, with their parents, and they're doing things. They have their own plans. So my life has changed. So what can I do to make my life, to make my Christmas wonderful, to make my days wonderful? And so I get what other people who enjoy doing things, that will make the day want to make make the day fun. So there are many ways that we can enjoy our life when life changes come. And it's not just Christmas. We want to enjoy our life when change comes. So when we look at the holiday season in a different way, it can remove some of that emotional pressure. What are our expectations? When as growing up, we may have expected that the house would be full, the house would be decorated. They're gonna come with this. My mom is gonna cook because mom's gonna cook, and now mom no longer with me. So we can use this time, and we can use this season, as I said last week, to go from what the season should be to how this season is going to be. We can change it, and don't allow what used to be how it should be in your life. Sometimes, and for me, change is good. It's really good. So don't embrace the change, because if it happens anyway, there's nothing I can do to go back and bring my mom back for all of us to go to her house. There's nothing I can do. But we can do other things. We can do so many other things. We had we created a day, and we called it Island Made People Day. We can do that. So whatever, if it's not approved by the governor and by the state and by the Illinois, it doesn't matter. And we did it across states. And the reason we did it that way, because as I said, my family don't travel a lot, like going and getting together for things like that. But we decided we wanted to have this, but we wanted to have it in our different states. And if you were in that state, that was a home you could go to. So you didn't have to do a lot of traveling. But if you were close by, like my niece Etta lives in Michigan, so the people in Michigan went to Etta's house. I'm in Illinois, so the people in Illinois came to my house. And we did things like that, and we all got together, we all had our t-shirt, we all shared photos and stuff, and that was a fun time as well. There's so many things we can do. And this can be an opportunity also, these holidays, to experience something new and different. How you decide to go about it is entirely up to you. You can make it an adventure. Doesn't mean you have to be all festive, and you don't have to have a festive attitude. It's not, if that's not how you feel, you could, start looking for an opportunity to do something and experience something that to take care of that need right now. Because if you're not feeling festive, if you're feeling down or whatever feeling you may have, and you don't like the feeling that you have and you want to change it, look for something that will change that feeling that you have right now. What can you do to change that feeling? We also talked about doing things for other people. Excuse me. I promised a friend of mine that I was going to bake her a cake for her to take home. So doing things for other people, that now I know, and I'm one of those people. I work well, and when there's a lot to do, I work well in that setting. So my mind, I know that, and my menu is crazy, because I cook whatever somebody can say, and I thought I was done with the menu, and my grandbaby came back and said, I think I want you to make some macaroni and cheese. So I added that, Maryland. I'm going to have macaroni and cheese, and so many other little dishes, but I do that type of stuff, and that helps me to fill my days. And let your creativity flow, like decorating, baking, like I'm doing, holiday themes. You can do some arts and crafts, whatever you want. These are not the only ways that you can engage during the holidays. So many ways that we can engage. When you're spending the holidays alone, it can be easier just to get away from those typical traditions and activities. So instead of that, letting yourself focus on what you are not doing with love, instead of letting yourself focus rather on what you're not doing with your loved one, consider using this imagination. Create a new tradition for yourself. Do something that you want. Ministry is awesome. Do something on here. If you find something that you're good on, if you like baking, or you like doing something that you can maybe show people how to crochet. I would like to learn how to crochet. So if somebody went on Facebook Live and was teaching us how to crochet, and was really teaching the beginners like I am, I would be a part of that. little things that we can do to show people, to get involved in things. We can come up with a heartfelt tribute to the people that we love. We can have this annual, establishing an annual Christmas Day date movie. You can have a Christmas Day date night by yourself or with other people. There's nothing wrong with going on your Christmas Day date. There's nothing wrong with going out to eat. I know sometimes we don't want to do those things. I don't have anybody to go with me, because I've said that a lot of times. A lot of my friends do other things. Adult friends my age rather do other things. And they don't go out with me like I want to go out on a movie on Christmas Day, because they got their grandkids, or their son just don't want to do anything. But I open my heart and I open myself up to my friends are all ages. All ages. I didn't cut on my grandbaby asked me the other day. She said, it seems like most of your friends are younger than you. A lot of my friends are younger than me. I have friends at my age too and older than me. But I won't cut off any of them, because I don't know, I want to enjoy every day. I do the puzzle. I showed you guys my puzzle. Something that you can do, something that's not even holiday related. You can say, well, I'm going to keep on my PJs today, and I'm going to watch, whatever, drama movies all day. Whatever you decide you want to do. And it's always good to connect with other people. So come up with some type of heart, you can come up with some type of tribute, like I said, to the people who are no longer alive. Or you can stand your annual Christmas Day. You can do some things like that. Anything that you can find and do to help you get through the day. And giving your time to support a cause, this is a great way to give back and do good, especially during the holidays. The holidays are filled with places you can go to help out. You can feed the homeless. You can give to, go and volunteer at an animal shelter. Donate clothing. I think that's a really good one, because if we haven't found that time to go into those closets and go through those clothes that we don't wear anymore. We just got, clothes that we don't wear anymore. That's a great time to go through that closet and pick them out and give them to somebody. Give them to a shelter. Give it to somebody else that can use them. Visiting an assisted living place, that's a good one too. Volunteering, when you volunteer and you start to give your time, it makes you feel good about yourself, and it can make you feel really good about your life as well. Set some goals. We sometimes a little focus is all we need just to get through the holiday. The truth is the holidays they're not forever. They're just a few days. So you're not trying to get through your whole life. You're just trying to do something to get through these days. So like the puzzles. If I do the puzzles now as a way of helping me enjoy the holiday, I may not do the puzzle in January. I may not. Set some goals. Create a plan, things that you want in your life. This can help you think about a lot less about what's happening right now and more about yourself. So what do I want to do? What do I want to do? Personally, I suggest and recommend that you find something to do. It's something to do. It's something that you want to do. Something to do. If you don't do anything and don't find you never do anything, just in the house, maybe just watching TV, you may have friends that'll come over and do that with you, or maybe you go to their house or something. You need to find something to do. And I try thinking about the one thing that you want to maybe achieve. It can be something small, like I'm gonna make a cookie. I've never made a cookie before. I'm gonna make a cookie. I was thinking about making coconut squares. I love coconut. I was thinking about making coconut squares. I've never made coconut squares before, but I thought maybe I'll try to make coconut squares. Little things like that. Send a care package to somebody. If you got family members out of town, you can get these care packages. I just got a message from my son telling me to look for a care package in the mail. We can do those things, and we can do those things not just at Christmas time. I got a box now that I need to send out for my niece. But things that we can do not only at Christmas time, but to make our life what we want it to be. Okay. Now we're gonna go on to talk about, and I want to say, treat yourself too. This is a season of giving. You can also give to yourself. Don't leave you out of it. It's up to you. Treat yourself might mean buying an item that you had your eye on, visiting a place that you have wanted to go someplace. It could also mean just taking time out for yourself. Take up a new hobby, like that crocheting. Anything that you want to do, treat yourself. Whatever you choose, treating yourself with things or experiences that can bring you peace and joy, and they'll help your mood too, and help you and let you reconnect with this time of year. You can reconnect, even if you've disconnected yourself from the holidays, you can reconnect with it differently. It doesn't have to be the same way that it was before. Remember that. And then if you still find yourself, if you even when you set your heart and mind to have the best possible experience during the holidays, it's still possible that you may find it challenging. If you continue to have difficulties coping throughout the holiday season, or your feeling of sadness or loneliness could start to increase, it may be time to look for some professional help. Because when you're feeling lonely and sad and it's persistent, this could be a sign that something else is wrong. Chronic loneliness is oftentimes linked to anxiety and depression. So you may want to get you some help. Therapists, I always recommend talking to a therapist. I love talking to a therapist. Even about little life things that are not of great importance, you can still talk to a therapist. Feel your feelings. Not every minute is going to be merry and bright when you're spending the holidays by yourself. Even when you spend them with other people. Think about that. When you spend a holiday with other people, is every minute of it wonderful? Sometimes it's not. Sometimes family get into arguments. Sometimes things happen. But you may want to avoid anticipating or thinking about how it's going to be. Oh, I know she's going to come over there. I know this is going to happen. I try not to do that anymore in everyday life as well. And I think it's a good practice. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how it's going to be. We can set ourselves, what you say, you keep thinking this stuff, and it's gonna make you feel that way. You don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what tomorrow's gonna bring. But so stop thinking about it. Try to stop thinking about what you're gonna feel like. Oh, I know it's gonna be this way. If you already planning that, and then it's gonna be that way. Instead, try to embrace whatever happens. So, okay, if I feel bad about it, I'll feel bad when the time comes. Why would you start to feel bad today about something that may happen on January 6th? You don't know that. You don't even know what's going to happen on January 6th. Don't put yourself in a place where you're anticipating, you're thinking about the future so much until, until it's hindering you, it's preventing you from enjoying the present. Make space for your emotions. You want to make space, even the less pleasant ones. So always, when your emotions are there, they're yours. Even though they're not you, they're still your emotions. You still feel them. So this can be a part of the healing process for us. Spending time alone could give you the room that you may need to express your feelings, because expressing our feelings is not always easy. So sometimes spending time alone will help us to be able to express them. Sandy, good morning. Sandra, Joyce, and Mama Dorothy, good morning. Yeah, so spending time alone can give you room to express your feelings freely. Because when it's come to expressing our feelings, it's not always easy. Sometimes what happens if you feel stuck after trying things to make the holiday more memorable? Let's go with that. How do you express your feelings? It can be hard to kind of open up, but sharing your feelings can benefit your relationship, and it can also benefit your well-being. You don't want to hold that stuff in us. You really don't want to. You don't want to. You may find an opportunity to share, but the words just get stuck in our throat, or you're just not sure where to begin. Sometimes we're not even sure how we feel. We just know that what I'm feeling is not the most comfortable feeling, but I really don't know how to express it. Expressing your feeling can be complicated, and it's common to feel uncomfortable about sharing those feelings. But why do we feel that need to hold back? Even when we're uncomfortable, we still don't want to get to a place where we are stuck in this stuff. I'm feeling this, and I'm allowing the world to go on around me, but this is how I'm feeling. How do I get to a place to understand my feelings? I need to understand my feelings. We talked about feelings a while back. I need to understand my feelings so that I can express them. I need to pick a time that I can sit down and express my feelings. It can be complicated. It's not, I always say one size does not fit all. So my way, I know when I try, and oftentimes I do try to express what I'm feeling. And like I said at the very, very beginning, oftentimes when I try to say what I'm feeling, people start telling me something different. And instead of really listening, so I think we need to practice our listening skills first of all, and try. And it can be the simple thing. Those people who are in our families, or those people who are around us every day, the next time they come and they share something with you, and my sister and I do it for each other. She helps me a lot though. When we share something with each other, and when she said I said whenever I said, "Look, how was your day at work?" And she started to tell me about an event, or she started to tell me, instead of me giving her my opinion, instead of me giving her suggestions, I ask her questions to better understand that and to see how she feel about it. So get into their conversation. So when that person come and tell you that that they're thinking about baking a cake, let them tell you about their cake before you tell them about your crackers. Ask them what type of cake, what kind of cake are you making? Are you going to make it from scratch? Is this a family recipe? Let them tell you. If you want to have friends and people in your life, you got to allow them to be in there. Sometimes we want people in our lives, but we cut them off. Mama Dorothy, you told me one time, I remember I was saying, I don't care. You said, and I did care. You knew I cared. So Mama Dorothy said to me, she said, no, it's not that you don't care. She says, not that you don't care, because it was the truth. I did care. I was trying to make myself okay in it, but I did care. She said, it's not that you don't care. And don't say you don't care. I think she told me to say, I don't mind. But I know she told me not to say I don't care, because we do care. So when we're having those conversations, we're trying to express our feelings, we got to understand that that person we're trying to talk to, they care too. They care too. They may allow you to do it, to go every time they call you and say, every time I call Rosie, I really need to talk to her. I got something on my mind I want to share with her. And every time I call her, she overtalks me and start doing that. We have to express that. You got to say, I said to Pat the other day, you can say, hey, Rosie, let me finish. That's okay. Let me finish. I want to share this with you. Let me say what I'm trying to say. So it can be complicated, but it's common. It's common to be uncomfortable. But there, we got to understand that it's not good to hold back. For trauma survivors, traumatic interpersonal events can make it harder to form a secure attachment with other people. So, first of all, because of these traumatic experiences, some of those in our lives, we find it hard to even be attached to other people. And that lack of secure attachment means less trust in other people. So when we get to a place that we really want to share with somebody, we find that we trust them enough to share with them, and they don't allow us to share, or we're not expressing ourselves in a way where they can hear us. I don't want to say they don't allow us. That's not the right term, and I take that back. What I want to say, we're not expressing ourselves in terms where they hear us. We need to know how to do that. I think that's what we're going to talk. Because this is for me. This is for me first, definitely, to how to express myself. Hi, James. Good morning. How to express myself in a way that people hear me, that people understand me. Not that they don't let me, or they don't let me finish. No, they don't. It's not that. We can stop them. It's me. As long as we're not giving anybody else the power to make us better. The power to make me better lies with me. What they keep on asking me is not about them. They can ask anything they want. I can say no when I want. They can come in anything they want, but this is about me. How can I be better? It's about how can we be better. So, when you're dealing with people who are trauma survivors, it's so important that we take the time to get to know people. If you don't take the time to understand and hear people, and understand how that trauma affects them and how the triggers are in their lives, you will never have an attachment to them in a way where they can fully trust you. We got to be able to listen to people. We got to be able to hear them and try and understand, not bring your opinion, not what you think is better, but understand where they are. Not everybody's in the same place. Not everybody doing the same thing. Not everybody even like the same thing. So when we try and come into a relationship, we need to really open ourselves on both sides. The person who's coming and the person who's hearing. So it takes that in order to have that relationship. There are so many reasons why people are unable to express their feelings. But opening up about our feelings can be a relief. And opening up about our feelings can even be good for our health. When we talk about our feelings, it can help with our emotional regulation. It regulates our emotions. Have you, when I thought about this one, I thought about emotional regulation. I was thinking about how sometimes when you can talk to some people and you're trying to express, or the way that they express themselves, it sound like defense. Sound like they're on the defense all the time. because their emotions are getting in there. You can hear their emotions and how they respond when you say something, how do you respond when you ask a question. So when we get ready, we want to regulate our emotions. We want to manage our emotions. Our emotions are not us. So we want to make sure that when we're trying to express our feelings, that our emotions get out of the way. We want to kind of take on this neutral tone, a tone that really loving tone, maybe a smile in your voice. If it's something that can be smiled, but if it's serious, it can still be in a way where it's not coming off defensive or it's not coming off like we're accusing anybody, but come off in a way that I need to express this. Take a deep breath. When we take there's a lot of benefit just from taking a deep breath, but it can help us to gain that sense of calm. Taking deep breath even supports our memory. So I know that I need to talk about something. I know that I need to talk about something. I don't quite got it all in my head how I want to say it or what I want to say. Take a deep breath. It can help that memory. It gives you time to gather your thoughts on how you want to present this, because you always want to be mindful of the other person too. And it can also, when we take a deep breath, it improves our cognitive, our intellectual functions. It improves those. So if you're feeling stressed out when you and thinking about what to say, or can't even remember how you feel, it may help a lot if we just pause and take a deep breath. If you're feeling something, decide if you're not calm, does it have to be expressed today? Do I need to say it right now? Most of the time when we say something, it's because we've gotten angry. Hey, boo. Hey, daughter. I love you, too. That yada ain't gonna call her no T. But anyway, I love you, girl. But anyway, we take a deep breath. When we take a deep breath, it can help us to sometimes gather our thoughts. How do I want to say this? Practice on ourselves. That's why we talked about being alone sometimes can help us to do that. Practice. I know I want to say this. Sometimes when I need to say something, I went to Mama Doris, I went to Aunt Shirley when I needed to say something to somebody that I needed to say something to somebody I respected. I love them, but I didn't want to say it in the wrong way. So sometimes talking to somebody like that, I really need to express, people you trust, I need to express this bothers me, but I don't know how to say it because I don't want it to come off in a way that's offensive, but I need to say this because it's bothering me. And when it's bothering you, anything that we're not that's in us that's bothering us, it needs to be expressed in some kind of way. When we feeling unwell, we need to go to the doctor. If we have these things that our trauma triggers are keep coming up in our lives, or we're still dealing with things of traumatic issues in our lives, we need to talk to a therapist. Whatever it is, if we want to be whole and authentic, we need to do something about it. I told you, the young lady said, if anything that you don't do something about, you accept it. You either accept it or do something about it. Or like Deborah so wonderfully told me one time, you're either going to deal with it or you're going to change it. The problem with dealing with that is knowing that you deal with it alone. When you want other people in your life, I know me, I'm not coming into anybody's trauma. Not on purpose. I'm not coming into anybody's drama. Not on purpose. I got my own. I'm not trying to get in yours. I may try and be there for you as far as listening to you and try and help you out, but I'm not good at when they were talking about empathy at work. And they had a photo on the screen, and they had this lady that was down in the hole, and there was a ladder there. There was a ladder there, and they was trying to teach us about empathy, and they wanted us to understand her that that she couldn't come out, even though there was a ladder there, that she couldn't come out because of something that was happening in her life, that she could not come up that ladder. And I said, well, I need you to understand that I can't go down that ladder either. I can try to stand up here and give her my hand or talk it to her, but to try and get into understand what she feels, that's a technique that I don't have. I'm not good at that. I'm a fix-it person. I'm a person that if there's a problem, what are we going to do about it? If you got a problem that you just want to vent about it, I'm not good at that. I'm not good at that. Because I don't understand it, and it takes me to a place where I don't want to be. I don't want to be there. I work too hard to come out of that place for myself until I don't want to be there, even if I'm trying to go with you. Because I get stuck in there, you may be okay, and I'm still there. I find myself, and this is something that, hey Joyce, God bless you. Sometimes I try to help. You try to help other people, and my mother used to say, yeah. They drop that bag of garbage at your door, and they're okay. And I would internalize things people would say to me, and I'm feeling bad, and I'm trying to figure out how to help them, and they're okay. They seem like they're okay. They're going on about their business. So I'm not really good at that. So if I'm about it. Let's see how I can be whole. Let's see how we can be authentic. Let's see how we can be the best version of ourselves, but not to just stay there and think that I can stay there with you, because I can't. So sometimes you're feeling stressed out, or thinking about what to say, or you can't even remember how you feel. Take that deep breath. Taking time to breathe can also help to ground us. It helps us to become grounded and connects us with what we're feeling before we can express it to somebody else. So you need to be able to say, we need to be able to say what I feel. We can say, I don't like something, but then I don't understand what you mean about that. And so you may say, I don't like that. And then I come back with a question, and you feel like, what you mean you don't understand what I mean? I mean, I don't like it. But if it has something to do with me, I need to understand a little bit more. I need to understand what about it you don't like. I need to understand, I don't like, I don't even have a good example for this, what I'm thinking I'm trying to say. But I need to understand what you mean. Okay? I don't like that you're always out. I don't like I don't like that you're always out. I don't know what that means. Are you trying to tell me that I really want you to spend more time with me? Or do you really have a problem with me leaving my own house to go outside? See, I need to understand where you're coming from. If you say, you don't ever spend time with me, that's not good for me. I need you to tell me what time with you means. Are you saying that we need to go out to dinner more? Are you saying that I would like to have a date night? Are you saying that I would like to go to the library? You need to be more specific when we talk to people, so that they understand what we're saying. We say these things and we don't understand why I told you that, but you may have said it, but that doesn't mean I heard it. We always remember, what we say is not always what the other person hears. This can be true even when we have a conversation with our loved ones, even with ourselves. We can practice. It's a good idea. It's a good idea to practice. I'm going to go back and say this part first. If you find yourself, you need to express something, and you're kind of feeling a little awkward, kind of a little an anxiety, a little tripping in. After, but then you find yourself doing that, but then check it out. If you continue to try and express yourself after you continue doing it for a while, the words will begin to flow. You'll feel more comfortable sharing your emotions. Oftentimes, people are not good at sharing their emotion. Like I said, because sometimes we don't even understand our own emotion. This can be true when, with conversation with our friends and our loved ones, too. Even with ourselves. As we practice, doing it, you find it easier to share your feelings when the moment calls for it. You want to be able to share your feelings. You don't want those feelings to go unmanaged or unspoken for over a length of time, because they can become something that gets in you, and then you start to add to it. Like we said, we want to live in the moment. You're always doing this. That's not true. You always say that. That's not true. That's not what I always say. I may say it at the time, but we go to identify and we go to categorize it in a sense that this is what you always do. You always do that. People don't always do anything. We're doing different things all the time. So when we do that, like the garbage, for example, you ask your kid to take out the garbage. Man, you always leave that garbage in here. Not all the time, but bring it to the now. Bring it when we handle things when they come up. It doesn't become a bigger thing. Because when we say we always, now we just added all those other times that the garbage needed to go out. When it's not that other time, that's the problem. The problem is the garbage now. So that's when we get into relationship and friendship, and we go to having these conversations about men do this and women do that. Women always doing it. You don't know all the women. You know the ones you know, but you don't know them all. You don't know all the men. You know the ones you know, but you don't know all the men. So to say that is really unfair. Getting to the root of the issue. Thank you, than yet. Getting to the root. That's what we have to do. We have to get to the root of the issue. That's exactly what we have to do. So, and we have to do it in a way that's effective. We're not going to be effective when we don't understand how to express our feelings. When we don't understand how to be a little bit. We still have to be empathetic, like I was talking about the lady in the home. I can't go in that home, but now I can understand better, because now when I look at life through in the mirror of my own life, just like I can't go in that hole, there's still a ladder for me to get out. Why can't I go in? Same way she's in and can't come out. So why is it that I can say to her that she needs to come out the hole? There's a ladder there, when I'm standing up top saying I can't go in it. So when we do that, that's when we look in the mirror of our own life. We don't become judgment of people, and we can really hear them and start to see things a little differently. So as you practice this skill, you'll find it easier to share your feeling in the moments when it's called for. Identify your emotions and accept your emotions. This is a big part of effectively sharing emotion, is correctly identifying your feelings. Unless you can identify the feelings that you're feeling, it's gonna be hard for you to express your emotion, share your emotions, and even accept them for yourself. Accept your emotion. This is gonna be hard when we can't identify the feelings that we have. Sometimes our feelings, we talked about this a while back. When we feel a certain way, and we say that feeling is, I'm tired, I'm overwhelmed, I'm tired, whatever feeling you may have. But most of the time it's linked to something different. It's linked to something better. So really, I'm tired. You've heard people say I'm tired, but then they go do other things. I'm tired, but I'm not really, when I say that, what I'm really trying to say is I'm overwhelmed at work. So I can go out tonight. I just said I was tired, but I can still go out tonight. I can still go to the movies. I can still go to dinner. But what it really was, I was really overwhelmed at work. And why am I overwhelmed at work? I'm overwhelmed at work because they continue to give me work, put additional work on my desk. And I'm looking at other people not doing it. Okay, now that's going even deeper. So it's not only the amount of work you got, but you're also seeing that other people are not carrying their full load. And you can get to, like you said, get to the root of the issue. Okay, now I see that Rosie not carrying her full load. They keep giving me work, and Rosie getting promoted. You need to go back. It's always good to go back and to the root of the problem. That's why in trauma, it's really important to go back and say, what happened to me? What happened to me to cause me to be this way? What happened to me to cause me to feel this way? Not what's wrong with me, but what happened to me. Something happened in our lives that caused us to be the way we are. Something happened. What happened to me that caused me to not be able to go down in that hole when there's a ladder for me to come right back out to help the young lady who's in the hole? What happened to me? I'm afraid of being out of control. That's what happened to me. I need to be in control of my feelings. I need to be in control of myself, because when I let go and I try not to be in control and I try to let go and just be the Rosie that I really felt like I was, I was abused. People tried to take advantage of it. They took my kindness for weakness. That's why. So now I'm more aware. Now I'm looking, and that's not the real me. To even be that way, the real me is open. I share a lot on here, and I give a lot to show some openness, but there's still some things in me that I work on, because I'm not who you see is not everything that I want to be, and everything that I know is in me. Just to be totally open, because sometimes when you're totally open, and I've been totally open, and I feel that it came back in a way that hurt me, in a way that I didn't like, in a way that I didn't expect that outcome. This is not what I was hoping to get out of this. This is not what I was trying to demonstrate, to show, and then I got something different out of it. So we want to identify and accept our emotions, because difficult emotions can often be complex, very complex. It's very essential. It's essential to take a moment of self-reflection. It's really important to self-reflect. When we self-reflect, it helps us to identify what we're feeling, and then we permit ourselves to feel those feelings. We're not hiding, we're not dismissing our feelings. We're not saying that we don't have them when we have them. We're just finding a better way to express them. And when we express them, we want to be heard. So in order to be heard, it needs to come in a way where people are listening. People are listening, where people want to hear what we're saying. So that's why it's important that we express, and it's important that we also self-reflect so that we can identify those feelings that we have. We want to go and say, when I say I feel something, I want to be able to say it. For example, we may start by asking ourselves, what am I noticing? What am I feeling? What am I thinking? If it's hard to identify a feeling, you can focus on the sensations in your body first. The tension or stress, are there. Is there any stress? Do I feel tension with this? Our sensations in our body can often be clues about our feelings, like anger. When we get angry, we get tense. Pay attention to your voice. Pay attention to your, you can tell I'm always excited most of the time. It seems like I'm excited. So people I noticed the video that I posted, I'm like, wow, you loud. But the excitement in my voice, the fun that I'm making changes to do things in my life, the changes that I'm making. So I find myself being more loud. So when it's hard, ask yourself, what am I noticing? Pay attention to yourself. What am I feeling? What am I thinking? And if it's hard to identify that feeling, focus on the sensations of your body. Know that your body, can often give you clues about your feeling. Pay attention to your body. What am I, am I tense? When I do this, is my voice changing? I say I'm okay, but you can hear the anger in my voice. Okay, choose. And you want to also choose the right listener at the right time. The wrong listener might be anyone who isn't willing to understand. That's why it's so important to have communication skills, to work on our communication skills, because we have to be able to listen. When we listen to understand. We don't listen to put down, and we don't listen to invalidate anybody. I tell you this one is for me, because I cannot stand when someone try to invalidate what I feel, because you don't have to like what I like. You don't have to do what I do. You don't have to be as loud as I am. You can do whatever you want to do. I respect the fact that you don't do what I do. Please respect the fact that I do what I do. I respect it, and you don't have to respect it. I respect the fact that you do what you do, even if you don't respect the fact that I don't do what you do. Like my little Texas friend, that day when she told me, she said to me, chitlins were nasty. I'm like, honey, no, that is so horrible for you to say that. That is so horrible for you to say that. Why would you call something that you don't like nasty? Why would you even say that? You don't invalidate what somebody else like. We had a girls' day, a yoga day at my house, and some girls came over, and we had food, and as we always had food. Everything was about food. We may have been supposed to be working out, but we were eating, and we had this young lady who did the yoga class. She was not a part of our group, but she was the one that taught the yoga class. And at the end of the yoga class, we were eating, and she wanted to stay and eat, so we allowed her to stay. And one of the young ladies sitting there with us was saying that she didn't eat macaroni and cheese. And the yoga instructor said, oh, you just haven't had it made right. And I said, if you I call her to the side. I said, if you make another comment like that, you're going to have to leave. Because that's not what we do here. If she says she don't like macaroni and cheese, you don't get to tell her that she hasn't had it made right, because you don't know who been making it for her. It could have been that grandmama who meant the world to her. Now you telling her that her grandmama's macaroni and cheese wasn't cooked right. We don't get to say that to other people. You don't like what you don't like. You like what you like, and you allow other people to like what they like. If you want people in our lives, we want to build relationships. We want these friendships. We got to be willing to stop. We got to be willing to try and understand. We got to be willing to refrain from putting down in any way, and we definitely want to refrain from invalidating other people's feelings. Good morning, Jeremiah. Love you. Thank you for joining. We got to stop invalidating other people's feelings. You got a right to feel whatever you want to feel. At these holidays, as we talk about getting through the holidays and enjoying those holidays, you got a right to not if you want to. But also know that when you choose not to, then no one else, I don't know about anybody else, but you shouldn't get upset when other people don't want to get there with you. The young lady, the same lady that's in that hole with that ladder. I need to understand that she's in that hole and she can't come out. She needs to understand that I can't come in. Just because she's in there, well, all you got to do is climb down. Don't tell me what all I have to do, because I'm thinking all you got to do is climb up. But I can't tell her that because she can't climb up. We never know what a person can do. We never know where a person is at. That's why we always we want to look through in the mirror of our own lives. Stop looking at other people. If we need to process, let me go on with this. We need to process something difficult. It's a good idea to choose somebody who's open, who's understanding, who's empathetic. When we get ready to process something that you're going through that's difficult, and you're trying to get to these places, when we come on here and we're meeting people, we're talking to people, when we're trying to process something, we're trying to get past something, we're trying to become whole, we're trying to become authentic, and we get to a bump in the road for us, we need somebody who's open, who's understanding, who's empathetic. When I met a lot of people when I started to talk about the trauma that I experienced as a child, and they feel like as an adult, you still going through all that? Yeah, I'm still going through that. Yeah, triggers still come up in my life. But the thing is, you don't get to decide how long I go through this. It could be all my life for me. But I'm learning to manage the triggers. I'm learning to deal with it. Because the truth is, if we want to take a look at each other's life, I'm sure just like you can find something wrong in mine, I can find something wrong with yours. And 10 out of 10, I probably think that your problem that you got in yours is bigger than mine. So that's the way it works. So we don't do that. If we're experiencing depression, you may not want to talk to that person who doesn't understand it. You may want to choose someone you trust with your emotions, like your best friend. I trust you, Danielle, with my emotions. This is what I'm feeling. I trust you to say that this is what I'm feeling. You have to be careful about what you say to people. Yeah, you have to find the right people. And it's so sad that's Joyce saying, we have to be careful about what we say to people. It's so sad that we can't find people who are supposed to be family and friends in our life, people who we trust, and we can't share our innermost thoughts. That's a big thing sometimes. That's why we get into these friendships, and the friendships seem like they one-sided. Wait a minute. I'm coming to you, sharing with you my life, and you lying about yours. And we know it because that's not what you said yesterday. That's not what I had one friend a while back, and I thought we were super good friends, really close friends. And she told me that she had bought this house, and she was bragging about how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, and how wonderful the house was. But see, the problem is, let me tell you why it's so important that we do this, have these conversations. When she got upset and was getting ready to go through a divorce, then she began to tell the truth about the house. When things were going good in the marriage, she was telling me how wonderful it is, and he bought her this house. And then when they got ready to go through a divorce, she would start to tell me how much work needed the house. The house didn't have cabinets because she bought it because she was really good at repairing stuff, and she was thinking that they were gonna do this stuff together. But when he left, all those bedrooms she said she had, she didn't have them. All that stuff she said was going on, she admitted it then. But so it's sad when you got a friend that's really trying to be open and trying to be your friend, and you doing that type of thing because it affects the friendship. So when we're becoming whole and authentic, I bring the good, I bring the bad, I bring the ugly. You don't have to understand it. I don't have to understand yours totally, but we respect that in each other. Imagine your feelings as a piece of glass art. You want to hand it to someone you're confident with, trusted with care. This is a piece of glass art, and you're going to give it to somebody. When you bring your feelings, you want to find people that you know are going to handle your feelings just like you will. They're not judging you. They're not trying to put you down. They're not telling you that your feelings are not valid, because they may not be valid to anybody else in the world, but they're valid to you. It's also key to pick the right time. When you're trying to have a meaningful conversation, when your listener is distracted or in a bad mood, this could lead to some unsatisfying and some frustrating experiences. So you want to make sure that when you do share, that you ask them, is this a good time? And don't start off with the issue, because you want to monitor the mood too. Some people just in a bad mood seem like all the time. Every time you come to them, they seem like in a bad mood. Then you don't want to talk to them about anything that's really important to you. These are your emotions, and your emotions can be vulnerable. So you want to be careful with that. You want to be careful when you go, like Joy said. You don't want to talk to everybody. You want to be mindful of that when you go to these people. Find somebody who you know is willing to listen. Somebody who's not distracted. You, like I said at the beginning, you trying to tell them one thing and they telling you something else. Sometimes, many times, I can ask a yes or no question, and I get a whole thing, a whole paragraph, and I still don't know the answer. And so, and what it does, because of my trauma triggers, I feel like you don't want to talk to me, and I back off and kind of get quiet with you, just leave it alone, and find somebody else who wants to talk to me, somebody else who has time, even if they like I was sharing with a friend of mine, and he's my cheerleader. He's definitely my cheerleader. I shared the same thing with another friend, and they were like, got real quiet, had nothing to say. And I was happy about this thing that was happening in my life. I was really excited about it. And I was sharing it with them, these two people, both friends of mine. And I shared it with the first person, and they got weird. They didn't say anything. And when I shared it with this guy, who I said is a friend of mine, he's like, all right. That's what I'm talking about. He may have been thinking something different, but in his conversation, he made me feel like, okay, I want to share with him. He's happy for me. He's excited. He understands that I'm happy, so he's happy for me. He doesn't have to be happy in the same sense. He may even think that I made a mistake, but because this makes me happy, he's happy for me. That's important. That stuff is important. We want to make sure that we find ways to express our feeling. We want to express our feeling with people who are willing to listen. And we want to get to that point where we can express our feeling. We don't want to go through life in relationships, in friendship, where we can't say what we feel. We have to be able to, because we don't want to hold it in, because it becomes a bigger thing. It becomes bigger, and a bigger thing, and then when I say bigger, I mean bigger in how we express it. Now I'm angry because I tried to tell you this. You heard people say, I keep telling you this, and you're like, no, this is the first time, because it may have been the way they brought it to you. Or you keep doing the same thing, and a lot of time in relationships especially, when that person get upset about something, and you're thinking like she's upset because you didn't come home from work. And you thinking, I come home from work every day. This is the first time I'm late. Why is she upset about that? It's not that one incident that she's upset about. She's upset because today you came home late. The last time 3 years ago, whenever it was, that it wasn't addressed, when she asked you to make sure you come home and pick up some milk, whatever it was, you didn't do it then. All these things that were bothering that person all this time have now come to an head, or maybe this is the straw that breaks the camel back. Now all this stuff has come to a point where I have to express it, and now it's going to come out in a way that it should never have to come out. Thank you for joining us today. Really appreciate you taking the time out of your day. I will not be on again until New Year's. I will not be on again next week. But you all have a happy, Merry Christmas. I wish you the best of the best. I pray that you find ways to have fun. I pray that you find ways to enjoy yourself, whatever those ways may be. Whatever you choose to do, I pray that you find ways to enjoy yourself, and that your family, whatever you want. If you want family come and they don't come, invite them anyway. If you got that friend or that sister, that person who doesn't speak to you anymore, try and speak to them. And if they still choose not to, respect that. Respect the fact that they may need more time. Respect the fact that they just not ready to deal with whatever the issue is. Respect it. We have to get to the point. We respect the fact that that's the way it is. Our affirmations for today, Mama Dorothy, I love you. Thank you so much. Our affirmations for today: I accept myself for who I am, and you're definitely welcome to repeat after me. I accept myself for who I am. My feelings do not define me. It's okay to be the way that I am right now. It's okay to be the way that I am right now. I take full ownership of my life. I make a conscious decision to enjoy the holiday season my way. And last but not least, I am always a safe place for myself. Be a safe place for yourself. Even if going to family's house or whatever is not a safe place. Mama Dorothy, my doors don't lock.
But all right, you all have a very, very happy holiday, and I will see you again in the new year.
God bless you and thank you for joining today. Goodbye.